meeting to order. And Wendy, I guess, well, first we can start with item number 2, any public appearances or emailed questions? I think not.
Nope.
And then before we go into any voting items, Wendy, is there anything you want to any updates you want to start to talk through, maybe with new business or the director report?
Let's do director report. So I just wanted to start with a big thank you to Deb for her term on the board. We've enjoyed having you here. Thank you for your time. Randy Udell is also going off of the board. He is on the council and he's our rep. He has been assigned to different committees and commissions, and he actually was elected to be the president of council last night, which is fantastic. So our new council rep will be Jay Allen. He will start at our June meeting. But thank you to Randy as well. He asked that I share with you that he's enjoyed his time on the board and enjoyed working with all of you. So that was good. Just a reminder that we are scheduled to reopen with express services 3 days a week on May the 7th. We were very excited to be able to move that up. We had originally been planning on June 2nd, thinking that it would take that long to get people vaccinated. We've had a number of vaccination opportunities to share with staff. So we had a clinic that was for Dane County Library staff that I think most people were able to get to. And then, hi Ann. And then we also had an opportunity through the city. The fire chief was arranging things with Fitchburg Family Pharmacy. So we had a couple of different things that I was able to email out to staff. And I don't know for sure because I cannot ask. But I think, have a vast majority of the staff are at least partially vaccinated and will be fully vaccinated by the time we reopen. So I think everybody feels a lot better about that. So thank you all for your support in waiting for everybody to hit that milestone. And then I just wanted to point out the statistics. We had a really busy month in March. So our checkouts were about 2,000 to 3,000 higher than they have been in any month since we've been closed. And our pickups were up a couple thousand as well. So I think it bodes well for people being more interested in library services. And I think that reopening at this time is going to be a really good choice for us. So looking forward to that. But yes, it's nice to see those numbers. They're not back to normal by any means, but they're going in the right direction. So I'm happy about that. Okay, so that's the library director report. Do you want to go back to minutes?
Let's do that. Well, so we just finished up item 8 on the agenda, library director report. So we'll move back to the top, number 3, approval of minutes. We'll need a motion to approve and then go into any discussion.
A motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes before we vote?
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
I don't know if you got my email today, but your first meeting is in June.
Oh, well, that's okay. I'll listen in.
Okay.
Welcome, Jay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, so we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the motion passes. So we'll move on to item 4 on the agenda, the treasurer's report.
All right, so I'm going to actually start with the register and then go to the overview. All right, so we are looking at February. Well, I think we say March. Anyway, okay, so looking at account 240, we had a fairly sizable bill for chiller repair. So this is something that's been ongoing that we've been talking about for a couple of months. So this is kind of the final payment of that. We had one big payment that went in last year, a smaller one earlier this year, and then this is kind of a whopper that has solved all the problems. So I think we're in good shape now.
Good.
So I think that's fine. And then the PA system repair, if you remember me talking about that last month, that's the biggest bargain we've ever gotten. And things still seem to be working pretty well with that. So happy about that. That's really the only remarkable thing in the register. Overview is also pretty boring. So we're early in the year. The numbers that you see for the salaries and wages and benefits are higher than they were in January, and that's because we have a reverse accrual that happens in January. So when the year is not split evenly between pay periods. So what you're seeing for February there is really a typical month for us. The one thing that I noticed when I was looking through here, I was looking at percent of budget remaining, and I got to account 290, and it says we have 4% left, and I panicked a little bit. But I went back through and made sure of all the payments we've made there. You know, they're large payments. We make them once a year. We typically make them in January and February. So we only have a couple $1,000s of things budgeted to come out of that account for the rest of the year. So it's fine that we're at 4%, but it looks a little odd on there. Did anybody have any questions?
Okay, if no questions, we will need a motion to approve the register and the overview, please.
Oh, Toby, you're muted.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? And the motion passes. Okay, thank you, Wendy. We'll move on to agenda item number 5. Any unfinished business? No. We've moved straight to item number 6, new business.
All right, so first up, we have the 2020 post-audit finance report. So this is the last time, yay, that you'll have to see this one. So this is, with all of the corrections, there were like 3 very minor things that came out of the audit. There was, I think, like $4 of back pay for someone for an increase that didn't go in on time. Not very much at all to change. So this is complete. We just need to approve it. A couple of things that I'll point out. Service contracts, again, $290. That was overspent by $620. That was HVAC expenses. So the first part of that project that we just talked about that we finished this year. That also is the account. So we used to take all of our HVAC out of 290 and we switched it this year to be 240 because we don't have a formal contract. We're really doing work as needed. And our maintenance is being done by city staff. So that's not a big problem. There's another one that's overdrawn, and that's going to be restricted grant expenditure. That goes hand in hand with the revenue account, private donations, general library. So the $700, there's $6,700 in there that we were not expecting. So that is money from the Friends for 2 different projects, and then beyond the page money. So the $583 that we spent was beyond the page money. It was money we didn't expect to get, which is why it wasn't budgeted in there, but it is more than made up for. The $6,000 in that account we did carry over to 2021 so that we can complete some projects. Does anybody have any questions about this? I feel like you've seen it a million times, so it's probably nothing in here is a surprise. But we should approve it one last time.
Okay, so we will need a motion to approve the 2020 post-audit financial report, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? And the motion is passed. Okay, moving along to then item 6B, COVID-19 policy review. This must be the policy that you were referencing.
Yes.
That we need to deal with today.
It is. So this is a policy that we have drawn up based on the experience and advice of some other libraries that opened earlier in the pandemic. So a couple that opened last year that then closed again. So some recommendations there. We looked at a lot of policies from different libraries and kind of took out just the things that we thought were really essential. Basically, we want this in place so that if things change, if Dane County Public Health decides that masks are no longer a thing, I can't see them doing that, but if they did, we still have our own policy in place to require them here in the building. Phil's here just because his department is gonna sort of bear the brunt of enforcing these. We are planning to have a greeter in the vestibule when we open that will be a manager probably for a little while, just to make sure that people are masked, make sure that people know that we've got time limits. But I think that when we phase that out, it's going to be the circulation desk that's probably going to deal with this the most. So, yeah. Phil, do you want to talk about any of this?
Yeah, we, like Wendy said, we've gotten some advice from other libraries to develop, which has been helpful. We were able to reference some other policies that have already been written about this, and really, we tried to keep it in kind of two main categories of items that we have of sort of like mask and social distancing compliance, kind of the basic stuff that way, and then generally just like the rules that kind of pertain to express services and what that means. So the idea is that we do have a time limit for the amount of time that people are in here. We intentionally, the policy just said that we do have a time limit in case things change, and as things relax and forward, we can always move to have it be a longer time limit or something like that. And then just talking about like meeting rooms and kind of general changes to the way that we're doing things as we phase back into reopening.
Phil or Wendy, I have a question. You mentioned that somebody's going to be in the vestibule. Does that air circulate in the vestibule? You know how they say you shouldn't be in an enclosed space like an elevator, etc.
So it's not fantastic. What we're going to do is prop open the inner set of doors into the library, and we do have an air purifier that we're going to set up out there to keep things sort of moving. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not ideal. This building was not built for this, for sure.
Well, sure, but I just want to make sure that who's ever in that vestibule is safe.
Yeah. Yep. The idea also is that you'll come into the vestibule, we'll make sure you have a mask on or offer you one. If you have questions, we can hand you a copy of the policy. If you can't wear a mask, we can give you curbside instructions. That's our, we say that we've got accommodations, but they do not include coming into the library. So if you medically can't wear a mask, then we're going to give you instructions for how to use curbside services. But then we're going to move you right through that vestibule. So it's not going to be a place to hang out and chit chat and talk about how much you miss the library. It's going to be like, happy to see you, welcome back, 60 minutes, move right along.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any concerns about what's in here? Yeah.
Wendy and Phil, I had a question. I know that some of our tables for the children's area have small pieces, and I was wondering if I didn't notice it in the policy, but if those were going to be closed down also because of the amount of touching.
Yes. When you come into the library, if you choose to, you'll see that there is very little furniture out. So the idea is that you're not staying here to read the paper. You're not staying here to do much of anything. You can have 1 hour on Wi-Fi or a computer. But yeah, those Lego tables, as much as we love them, are stashed away. So we've used the quiet reading room, we've used the study rooms, the Fitchburg room, and the storytime room downstairs. So we have moved almost all of the armchairs into those areas, and they will be inaccessible.
Okay.
So we'll have a couple of tables in each area set up for Wi-Fi stations. So if you have your own device and you want to use Wi-Fi, and a couple of stations for our computers that you can use, but very little seating otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that also explains why we have something in here about not sitting on the floor. We've heard from other libraries that some families want to come in and just camp out on the floor if there aren't seats for them, and that's not really the intention here.
I had a question as well. The policy talks a lot about exclusion from library property. I guess I'm wondering what time frame is somebody excluded from the property, and how are you going to enforce that? Is that going to be on your staff to make sure that those rules are enforced?
So I think we're just thinking about the day. Like, you just need to go for now. You can try again later. So we'll just take it on a case-by-case basis. We do have a security log that the staff have access to, which is where if we're banning people for longer periods of time, we track that. It happens very rarely. I don't expect to see a lot of that. But so we do have a way to track that if we need to. I'm hopeful that we won't. I got a very encouraging email today from another library that opened for the first time today. And they said they really had very few, they didn't have anybody flat out refuse to wear a mask. They had a couple people they had to remind that it needs to cover your nose and your mouth, but not many issues at all. So I am feeling much more positive after hearing some current experiences.
Thank you.
Wendy, just a quick comment. Do you think we should have a date on this COVID-19 policy effective May 7th, 2021, something like that?
So we will, yeah, we'll add that at the
Okay.
bottom. That's part of our, I guess, formatting. It's not
Okay.
on there now because it's brand new, but we will, yeah, we
Okay.
will definitely add that and we'll post it on the website. It does say in the verbiage here that it is a temporary policy,
Right.
which is unusual for us. I think that as time goes by and there are certain things on here that we don't need to enforce,
Mhm.
you know, you may see this a couple of times over the next year as we drop things off of it. And then eventually, I mean, fingers crossed, we just get rid of it altogether.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good questions. Anything else?
I do have one more
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
So is there a need to have anything about extended times that when product is brought back to the library that it's not in use? I'm thinking of, you know, do we need to say that something may not be available as quickly? You know, like
So we've been quarantining, quarantining materials, return materials. Is that what you mean?
yes.
So we've been quarantining since this started. We started with a 4-day quarantine and we're down to 2. I think people are used to that. And I think that's going to continue to drop. So I hesitate to put it in here because I think it would be inaccurate. I think we're thinking already about going from 48 hours to 24. And I'm hopeful that before too long, we might be able to do away with it. But I think people are used to the time frame now, so I don't know that it needs to be. I think that's more of a procedure than a policy.
Yeah, and the reason I asked the question was because we've done a great job of keeping material available to everybody, but usage of the library has been reduced in the last year. So some people may just not be aware of that. And I was thinking of things like mobile hotspots or Roku's or all the other things besides, you know, reading material.
So those are still checking out. You can get that through curbside, and we are definitely going to do a big display with them when they come back. Yeah, so I think everything we've got is going to be available except for newspapers. We stopped our newspaper subscriptions, and we're not going to start those again.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, then we need a motion to approve the COVID-19 policy.
I will motion to approve the COVID-19 policy.
And I'll second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the motion has passed.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
See you later, Phil.
All right, thanks, everybody.
See you, Phil. Okay, moving along then to item 7 on the agenda, the president report. I just have, a couple of quick things, and Wendy actually already hit on them. So I want to say thank you to Deb for your service. Randy's not here. We'll thank Randy for his service. Jenny, thank you for all your energy and efforts. We're going to miss you. Good luck. And then, Jay, we will welcome you formally when we reconvene again in June. So that's really all I have for item number 7. And we can move right along to agenda item number 9, committee reports.
All right. I don't have anything for strategic planning. Facilities, just a couple of updates. We've taken the advantage of our last month close to do some kind of building maintenance. So we painted the quiet reading room and we painted the vestibule. So the vestibule has been pretty beat up. It's where the internal book drop is. So there's that wall takes a beating. So we patched and painted that area. The quiet reading room, I don't know if any of you use that room, but it has always been a like dark rust color. It's the color of the wall behind me. It's kind of terrible. It's real dark. There's a million windows in there, so that helps, but it still feels a little bit weird. So we left a red band around the top, and then we painted the like a kind of a cream color for the rest of it. So it really brightens it up, and it was a nice time to do it because we didn't have to block off the room from anyone. We also did a walkthrough today with managers and full-time staff, sort of as a, like, if I'm a patron and I'm walking into the building right now, like, where is the sign that says what the time limit is? Where is the sign that says that I have to wear a mask? That kind of thing. So we're moving some furniture. Kevin and Larry were able to install some shelving in the first floor kind of circulation area, so that we can have a new book section again without taking, we expanded the hold section back in the early days of the pandemic so that we could have staff shelving further away from each other. And I think we're going to really want to keep that for patrons picking up holds as well. So we are creating a couple of new spaces for things. We're, I think, going to be using meeting room tables to do displays. Kind of the idea being we want as much of our good stuff close to the self-checks as possible. So you could come in, grab your holds, grab a couple things you didn't know you were looking for, self-check, and head right out. So just trying to make it an easy experience. So that went really well. And I think people are getting more and more comfortable with the idea of being open. I think people actually are kind of starting to look forward to it. I know I am. It's nice to be moving forward and making progress instead of kind of just holding on and waiting. So that's all been good. One other facilities update. So we talked about adding a security camera outside the front door at our last meeting. And I was naively hopeful that that project would cost $2,000, and that project costs $4,000. It's basically like 4 cameras. It's a 4 camera in one that you mount to the ceiling. It's a lot of money. It's more than I expected. We do have it in the budget to do. I think it was a real oversight when we built the building that it was not included. I think that with curbside, we've needed it more. And I just think with reopening, it's the time to do it. So I think I am going to move forward with that. We also do have extra money in salaries this year because we are not filling the outreach position. So if we needed to do a budget amendment later in the year and reallocate that $4,000, I think we could do that. We did that last year and put some money into the equipment fund for furniture. So I think we're going to move forward with that. I think it's just the right thing to do. I would feel terrible if something happened and we didn't have eyes on that area. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward with that and hope to get that installed before we reopen. Anything else? Facilities. I think that's it for facilities. And then personnel, Jenny's leaving and we're sad about it, but we're so happy for her. So we do have the job posted already. Hoping to do interviews the 2nd or 3rd week of May and have someone here for the June board meeting. And that's all I have for committee reports.
All right, Wendy, thank you for those updates. Yeah, for what it's worth, completely agree on the cameras. I mean, the safety and security of the staff and the patrons, $4,000 is well worth it. So
yep.
Thanks for thinking that through.
Yeah.
So moving on, item 10, announcement. I think we should update this. Basically, yes. Everybody knows that the May meeting will be canceled. We will reconvene in June.
June 16th.
June 16th, thank you. And assuming we will continue to be meeting over Zoom.
Yes.
In the foreseeable future. So
yes.
Everybody has a month off. That's it.
Enjoy it. I will make sure to keep everybody posted on how reopening goes.
Oh, very good. Very good. Anything else for the good of the cause before we get a motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks, Anne. Thank you all. I've really appreciated my time here with you all, and especially the support this last year through the pandemic. It felt really good knowing how involved you guys were in helping us see that through. So thank you.
You've been excellent. Much luck. Much luck to you.
Come back and visit.
Okay, could I please have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
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 And opposed, no. Motion is passed. Thank you all. Have a
Excellent.
good off month. We'll see you in the